George, please could you tell me about the importance of workers' therapy?
We know that there are essential elements in the TC, a number of them. Work is central to it. And the reason why is, well, one is our client population has had a very, very troubled, disturbed work history, if they had any history at all. It's usually been a problematic one. That's one obvious reason. But really, since community as method means that the residential community is responsible for its own health and safety, and is the means by which they, in that responsibility, are changing, they have job functions. Things have to be done to maintain the house, to keep it clean, to serve the food, to repair various aspects of it. So everybody has a job function in the TC, but more centrally to their recovery process, that they're beginning to experience the first opportunity to be a contributor to your own health and safety, be a contributor to this community, so you essentially can feel the positive feedback to yourself about giving to the community by work, but also you learn real good work habits in doing that. And there's a lot of work training in the whole job work as therapy issue, because there's a lot of training issues in that. Individuals, even if they're going to sweep the floor, learn how to sweep the floor properly. I used to use this example a lot. You can sweep the floor, but one of your peers who are on the floor with you can be watching how you're sweeping the floor. Particularly, did you really cover everything? Did you really clean everything up? This is an example of a therapeutic intention from the job function. I see this. Did you really clean that floor? And it may be, this is quite typical. You don't quite finish anything. You do it, but it was not finished. And you will often find when they start to speak about that in group, they're displaying in their job function in the TC typical behaviors and attitudes that they have probably displayed in the world and that have been problematic for them, like they don't stick with it or they don't complete it, or they show up in work habits. They show up late, or they show disrespect, or they don't work well with another work colleague. Now, these are often real clinical problems. When would they get addressed? You use the job function in the TC as a means of collecting the social psychological data that reveals their life problems. It's a primary source of information. How you worked this afternoon, I can talk to you tonight in the group about what I saw. Is an example of that. So it's work in the job function in the therapeutic community not only has the pragmatic intention of this facility can't exist without your efforts. Being needed in the therapeutic community is a powerful way of keeping people in treatment. We need you. So that's another psychological intention. And the issue is that, and once you get the benefit of that you're needed in the community, then we can put you in the work roles, change those work roles over time, increase the level of responsibility and demand characteristics. All of that is teaching you how to get stronger, display your strengths and weaknesses and how to get stronger, provides data back to the community about what you need to be addressing in this community.
Just to reflect that then, so there's this clinical element that we can actually identify people's treatment needs.
That's right.
By taking part in workers' therapy and holding a role function.
That's right.
But then there's the community component and feeling a part of that community.
Good summary. Yeah, that's right. It's a profound element. So any place that calls themselves therapeutic communities, but has only a superficial relationship to the job and work as therapy, they're absolutely missing. They're depleted from a major activity that has to go on. Much of what we learn about each other is through the work roles, the responsibility levels, how you do them, what your attitude is, does your skill level change, does your motivation change? All of those changes, incidentally, are dollars and cents changing in terms of therapeutic outcomes. If that's happening, and you can see that is what happens in individuals, you're already essentially implementing a profound therapeutic intervention when you have a well-developed job function hierarchy.
And there's just as much learning through a promotion as there is a demotion, really. Of course. And how someone reacts to that.
You're citing all the kind of psychological outcomes, your attitudes about criticism, your attitudes about getting affirmation, how you deal with that, how you work with other people. you couldn't get a more powerful therapeutic reason to use work and make it a fundamental element of the TC and skillfully implemented. There's a lot to talk. Well, there's a lot, I think, even in the chapter on this. So,
George, we talk about sustainability and therapeutic communities being able to be more self-sustaining. Workers' therapy, together with social enterprise, could be a real support for this.
Social enterprise.
Yeah.
The relationship between those two.
Yeah.
Still needs to be fully matured.
Yeah.
But here's the potential of it. You're in the TC, the primary TC. You've lived through a series of hierarchical job changes, responsibility levels. You've had, let's say, a good course of experience through that. You've kind of matured through that. Good work attitudes, good work preparation, developed even some skill levels. You already then, you can see the primary TC, workers' therapy, is preparing somebody to live in the real world. And one of the reasons a lot of our early TCs made some good connections with industry is because industry used to say, your clients are some of our best workers. And particularly correctional-based clients who graduated correctional TCs, industries would the feedback from industries is that they would come in and often get the sense these are some of our best prepared people. What they really mean is that they had the right attitude, the dress code. They didn't have to be managed. You know what I mean? They knew who they were and how they can work, and even down to the issues of, you complete the goal of work. You do the best you can. You really work out. So that's the first relationship between the two. If you go into social enterprise, you're preparing what was once a very disturbed workforce to become a very healthy workforce that can now maybe advance social enterprises. We have some of those TCs that essentially lean heavily on social enterprise, and they use something of the advanced residents to manage those. So their careers are already starting.
Yeah. And that's something that we're actively looking here at Lakeview and across the province, really, to look at social enterprises to become a little bit more sustainable as therapeutic communities. So it's great to hear that there's already examples, essentially, that we can look at.
Real social enterprise, the underlying principle there is autonomy. The programs can pay its own way to a large extent. But even if it's not all of its way, if it pays 50% of its way and a larger percent, that's a good thing, because that's people, again, earning it for themselves. As you know, the TC, one of the central elements of TCs, you earn everything here. Everything you earn. Every privilege is something earned. Why do we say that? We say, well, that's how you benefit from it. If you worked for it, you'll value it.